Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Return to Cage Talk. And I am your host, Mike Thorwart, and on the line I also have a special guest starting off the show, and this is Duane Bang Ludwig. Why don't you tell everybody how you're doing, Duane?
Doing good, guys. Thanks for having me on. This is good stuff. I always like talking to the fans and having some fun.
Yeah, definitely. And I was actually just telling Duane not too long ago that I, did first little 8-episode stint and then just kind of took a little hiatus to figure some shit out. But now I'm back full time, and it's great to have Duane on the first show.
It's good, man. Thanks for having me. That's cool.
Yeah, man, definitely. It is most certainly my pleasure. And also what we were talking about just a little bit prior to going on the air live here is just a little bit about the fastest KO that everybody knows. I think it currently, according to, on paper, I think it's Todd Duffy in the UFC, because I think I was looking at
Correct.
that.
Todd Duffy with, I think, 8 seconds?
Yeah. Yeah, so I just actually watched it today or something like that. But everybody that knows that there's a petition that's out there, on Facebook to, get it changed over to Duane Ludwig, because when he fought Jonathan Goulet, he obviously did have the fastest KO. Everybody's probably seen it hundreds of thousands of times, and we all know that that's what happened. So if nobody knows, Duane, why don't you just kind of update everybody where that is in the,
well, we're around with it, I started that. Well, actually, no, I didn't. I had a fan of mine up in Canada start the Facebook petition for me, which probably should have been handled by probably a management team or something. But he got it going for me, and we have about 6,500 likes or so. And then I had I tweeted and Facebooked the Athletic Commission email address. I had a bunch of people email them, and a lot of people called him as well, actually. And my manager contacted them, and I sent them when I say them, the Athletic Commission, I sent them a copy of my DVD, a copy of the fight that the UFC supplied me with, a photo where it shows Goulet's on the ground at the 4-second mark, the refs coming in, a letter stating my concerns, and another piece of paper. I forgot what it was. I think it was another photo of Todd Duffy and I, actually. And Todd Duffy's holding up his 7 or 8 seconds, and then I'm holding up 4 seconds or 4 fingers. He's holding up 7 or 8 fingers. So it's nothing on Todd. He's actually real cool, and he understands the situation. I mean, obviously, whoever can count to 4 knows I have the fastest record knockout. And even my daughter, she's 5, and she knows. But it's just it's one of those things, man, where I have it. It's mine. It's great marketability. It's a great story for the kids, and my dad got the fastest knockout in the UFC. That's, even if it wasn't me, that's some cool shit, But it's coming down to where, at first I didn't really care, but now it's a great marketing tool. It's something, great for the kids. But it's also coming down to where I'm having, a pencil pusher basically judge my life and take away something from me that belongs to me, and I no longer want that. Once I look at that in that aspect, it's kind of annoying. I got some guy behind a desk, and he's judging the outcome of my life. He's taking away something of mine. He doesn't want to have the extra work. So we contacted the Athletic Commission, and they came back with a response saying that there's nothing in the rule books stating that they can overturn the time and the decision. But on the flip side of that, there's nothing in the rule books that say they can't do it either. So that is going to be our approach. I have a lawyer that's going to drop a letter and let them know basically that fact, okay, there's not a law stating that you can't overturn it, but there's also not a law saying that you can't, or that you can. I say that you cannot. Anyway, so it's just one of those things, man, where I'm letting the guy behind a desk judge my life, and I no longer like it.
Yeah, I mean, I probably wouldn't be a big fan of it either. And, and in my opinion on the whole matter, I'm just one little small person. But, the effect is what we kind of discussed prior to going on the air is that, it may open the door to numerous mixed martial artists or just combat sport athletes, period, protesting decisions and things that have happened, in their past outings and whatnot. And, they just simply, I don't think they want to deal, because I think very easily, athletic commissions have tremendous amounts of power within the sports world, especially within combat sports,
for sure,
yeah, especially mixed martial arts. You know what I mean? It's the most monitored combat sport on the planet, period. And they have tons of power, and I believe that they do have the power to probably overturn that. It's just the fact it's like, well, we do it for one guy, then we got to do it for every guy, and I enjoy getting my six figures and not really having to do much. You know what I mean? And it's no you know what I mean? Don't take me the wrong way, people. I'm not trying to disrespect the Athletic Commission. I think they do a great job, but I also think that there's certain aspects of it that they could change as far as a federal basic basically a federal organization goes. And I think that they're just trying to avoid the extra work because, as I said, you do it for one guy, you got to do it for every guy. And I think that they're trying to avoid that scenario. But I do think that it should happen. And, you know what I mean? And hopefully, and my thoughts are definitely with you, and I will support you in any possible way, manner that I think that you should definitely get that shit because it's fucked up if you don't.
Yeah, that's not cool. Yeah, I think that is one of the things that they came back with that. They have, I don't know how many, I don't even know if they had how many, but people waiting for decisions and times to be overturned and for, whatever it is. But mine is by far the most extreme case, and they have said that. They said, by far it's the most extreme case. And at first I thought it was UFC. I approached UFC and they say, no, we're with you, we're behind you, we agree, but it's not our call. It's the Athletic Commission's call. So then once we contacted them, they pushed the puck to the Attorney General, which they went and actually, or one of them, Keith Kaiser, talked to the Attorney General, and he or she, I don't know who the Attorney General is, basically said no. And then I guess one of the ways, the politically correct way to handle this would be get a petition, like a real petition, signed signatures on the street somewhere or something, I'm not sure, and present it to the Athletic Commission to either create a law where timings and decisions can be overturned. Well, and I know, they overturn decisions, but just not times, I guess. So that goes back to, like I said earlier, they don't have a rule stating that they can change the time one way or the other. So then, okay, fine, there's not a law saying that you can't change it, and there's not a law saying that you can't change it. So, but by far, man, mine is the most extreme case, and they need to go ahead and man up and take care of this for me. But on the flip side of this as well, I don't really care if it's the Athletic Commission that makes the call or not. I would be just as happy with the UFC creating some kind of their own little presentation saying, okay, it's not backed by the Athletic Commission, but we here at the UFC, Dana White, Lorenzo, Joe Rogan, everybody, we stand by the decision that Duane Ludwig has the fastest knockout in the UFC, even though it is not backed legally by the Athletic Commission. That would be fine with me because that's all I want is, the UFC fans, and which they already know, but I just want to make it somewhat official through them. I mean, if it's the UFC stating it, then that's more official to me than the Athletic Commission, to be honest. Because a lot of people still don't even know that there is an Athletic Commission. They just think that it's UFC has their own judges and referees, which isn't the case. Those are all supplied by the Athletic Commission. But in everyone's vision, they think it's the UFC judging and reffing these fights, and it's not the call. Not the case. But with that mindset, I'd be just as happy with the UFC stating it for sure.
Yeah, right. I mean, nobody wants an asterisk next to the record, but this is the one case where...
Bring it. I'll take two of them.
Absolutely.
Because I will fucking drop Todd Duffy. In 3 seconds. No, he's cool. He trains with us. He's a good dude, but yeah, for sure. I'll take an asterisk, a circle, a star, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is definitely one of those situations where an asterisk would be, a good thing and not a bad thing. And, speaking of Rogan, I know that he's a huge supporter of it, and very well he should be, and everybody should be. And it's not that you're sitting here crying and complaining and blah 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 blah. And that's not the case whatsoever. It's the fact. It's the fact that that's what really happened, and then that's what should happen. I mean, that's what should. That's what it should be on paper. It's not me. It's not you saying, "Oh my God," you know what I mean? I'm getting fucked and this and that. Complaining just to get somebody to do something, something for you. It's what fucking happened. And
yeah, exactly.
It's facts. It's truth. It's not some sort of speculative situation. It's what really happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's not really a case where one fighter just feels that he had a wrong decision and should have won the fight or something. There's nothing questionable about that. This is a mathematic fact. The fight ended at the 4-second mark. The ref came in, separated us, and then was kind of confused. This is what I feel happened. Even me, I was surprised. I mean, that was some cool stuff that happened. 4 seconds, boom. I think the freaked the timekeeper out, and by the time he realized he had a job to do and clicked the clock, by the time he came to his recognition that he had a job and he had to stop the time, it was 11 seconds. Because even that was shocking to me and everybody, you know, like no one expected that to happen. So I think he was in a little bit of shock and realized, oh, wait, I got a job to do, I got to hit this button. Oh, okay, it's 11 seconds now. I think he fucked up is what happened and doesn't want to come right with it.
Right. And, you know, and that's the thing. It's like, you know, if I'm running to like a Best Buy, and they close in 4 seconds, and it takes me 10 seconds to run there. The fact is, they're still fucking closed when they get there. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like they're not,
yeah, true.
You know, they aren't going to say, oh well, you know, because you got here, we're going to let you in. You know what I mean? That might be a bad analogy, but it's the same concept. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Indeed.
Now, probably not. But, you know what I mean, because he probably doesn't like to remember so much about that day. But, you know what I mean, have you talked to Jonathan Goulet at all since that day? Does he support it or anything along those lines?
No, I haven't talked to him about this. I mean, this has been something new within the last year that I've decided to go ahead and fight this. Because I didn't really care or anything, but now I understand, you know, there's some marketing there and stuff, and I'm getting to the point where I understand the game and the marketing, and, you know, I got my own gym and stuff. And it'd be cool to be known for that, because that is that one fact separates me from everybody past, present, and probably future on the planet. I am the one human being, past, present, future, in the world that has ever accomplished that, and that's freaking cool. But aside from that, you know, I want the kids to know, like, man, my dad's got the fastest knockout. That was cool. You know, I mean, that's just something cool for the kids. And I got a little girl and a little boy. But there's a multiple facts to this. But, you know, also that the fact that I have a man behind a desk judging the outcome of my athleticism is not cool.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what it comes down to too. And the thing is that like that's a beast record.
That's pretty cool.
I don't care what anybody says. I mean, I personally am not a mixed martial artist. You know what I mean? I've never engaged in a fight as far as sanction goes or whatever. But that's a huge deal. I know that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, I know that if I was a mixed martial artist, I know for damn sure that I would want it fucking publicized that I knocked some dude out in 4 seconds. I mean, that's just all there is to it.
Yeah, and it's like judging my fight with Todd Duffy's. I don't know if you've seen Todd Duffy's or not, but you know, he wasn't even looking, kind of ducked his head and hit him with the jab, and then followed up with some, you know, not so technical ground and pound. But he finished the fight, which is cool. What I did was some technical precision, hand fighting, step off to the side, overhand right. I mean, there were some sweet technical details to how I finished that fight, and it's not like I just closed my eyes and checked the bomb and landed the shot. I mean, there was some timing, there was some footwork, some hand placement in that fight. I mean, that's what there's some cool stuff that happened. Even if it wasn't me, I mean, that was some freaking cool stuff that happened.
Well, yeah, for sure. I mean, and that all comes, you know what I mean, from being basically like a Muay Thai monster that, you know, that you are, because that is like, is that your main focus? Is that your main practice? Is that like what you started with Muay Thai?
Yeah. Started off with Thai boxing when I was 15, and just did that, you know, for obviously since I was 15. So yeah, it's been a while. And you know what's funny is how I was able to win the fight. It wasn't it's not something that I trained. I never really trained that technique. I do now, but up until that point, it's not like a drill or anything that I ever did. It just kind of like boom, happened. And I was like, wow. It's something, you know, allowing the subconscious and just allowing my body just to flow freely, which is cool about that.
Right, definitely. You know, it was almost like second nature. It's like you knew, you know,
exactly.
It's like you knew exactly what you were doing. You know, it was downright precise timing, and it just
that was some ninja shit.
It was some ninja shit, man.
It was, yeah, it was cool.
It definitely was some ninja shit, man. And I think that's why I've watched it so many times. Not to like time it per se, but just be like, dude. No, that's
you can watch it a million times. It only takes 15 minutes to watch it a million times.
Because
that's good. Yeah.
4 seconds, people. Listen up. It's 4 seconds.
Yeah.
That's why you can watch it.
What else is like the story leading up to the fight was funny too, because I wasn't training it at all. It was one of those times where I was just working as an electrician. I was actually up on top of a ladder in the mountains working at this guy's house, pulling some wire, and my phone rings, and it's my manager calling me, and he's like, hey, man, you know, the UFC called, and he's kind of worried. And I'm like, yeah, you know, what's up? They want you to fight in 2 weeks, and I wasn't training at all. That's why that fight was at 70, And at the time, I don't know what I weighed, 85 or something. I'm not sure. Not that I was fat, but I just wasn't training at all. I was definitely out of shape. So anyway, I accepted the fight without training at all, and crawled down off the ladder. Finished my day at work, and then my boss was cool, and he's like, yeah, go train for 2 weeks and go fight. So I'm like, all right, sweet. Flew out to California to a boss for basically a week and a half. During the training, I separated my left shoulder, so literally I had one arm for that fight, and that was my right hand. My left shoulder was jacked up. I had a cortisone shot in there and lidocaine as well. And I remember warming up for the fight and trying to pummel from underhooks, or trying to pummel from the takedown. And I remember feeling my shoulder just separating, but it didn't hurt, but I could just feel the joint being separated. And I was just like, fuck, man, like this sucks. But, whatever, I'm still going to go fight. So, and Jonathan Goulet, was already booked to fight Diego Sanchez on the U.S. versus Canada card a month or two later. So I was supposed to be a walkthrough fight. And just the whole story about that was kind of cool, just how, 4 seconds, how it went down. Injured shoulder, 2 weeks into 2-week training, not even that, it was like a week and a half training camp. Just the whole story to it, man, that was just freaking crazy.
Yeah, man, that is crazy. And speaking of like kind of injuries and whatnot, now I remember back in August, I believe it was MMA Weekly that did like an interview with you at your gym possibly, and like you had just gotten off surgery. Is that correct? Like on your neck?
Yep.
Okay, so how's that going? Because that was like coming. Now you fought Amir Sadallah. That was your last bout. Is that all right?
Correct.
So how's things going with that, and like what's coming up next?
What's coming up next is I'm fighting Josh Neer January 20th on the first full UFC card on Fox.
Nice.
So, they had just that single bout with Junior Dos Santos and Kane.
Right.
Now they're going to do a full card, and I'm one of the televised fights against Josh Neer January 20th in Nashville, Tennessee.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yep.
And
yeah, it's a good matchup for me for sure.
Yeah, man, definitely. It should be a beast fight. And
yeah, he's tough.
Yeah, he is tough. But I mean, in my opinion, you get a lot of people out there that say, this person doesn't belong here, this person doesn't belong there. I think, period, that if you get called up to the UFC, you're a fucking beast and you're tough.
Yeah.
And because they don't go out and they don't pick little schlibs. That's a term we use around here in my area to come to fight in the UFC. You know what I mean? Like they don't set up lopsided matches, in my opinion.
No, not today. I think in the past there have been some people that may have not earned their way in.
Right.
Maybe this, sort of a short notice gap. But today, Joseph knows what he's doing. He researches the fighters. He's following everybody outside the UFC as well. And that man knows what he is doing. And, he brings people in who are worthy to be there. That's for sure. And some people, like Dan Hardy, for example, he's lost 4 fights in a row. That's 4 fights he's lost. But it's not like he's gotten his ass kicked. He got out wrestled by St. Pierre, and he almost got arm locked, and twice, almost armbarred and then Timurred. But he's super tough. It's not like he got outclassed, just got out wrestled. And then Anthony Johnson, again he got out wrestled and just basically held down. Carlos Condit, Carlos' lucky shot, which can happen to anybody. And then the last fight with Chris Lytle, that was a great back and forth fight. That was fight of the night, and then again got caught. So I totally support the UFC's decision on keeping Dan Hardy. I would much rather watch Dan Hardy fight, even if he loses the next 10 fights. I would much rather watch that guy fight for sure than, let's say, a lane prey wrestler or something, or a lane prey, the jiu-jitsu guy or whatever. Just not action. That guy brings action. Period.
Right. And I love Dan Hardy, and I completely agree with you, and I completely agree with him staying in. The fact is that in the GSP fight, is you could clearly see, maybe I'm a little out of my realm and people will tell me I'm crazy, but you could almost see that GSP didn't want anything to do with them throwing blows. And so,
he's smart for sure. He's smart.
Yeah, he was all about taking him down. And I'm going to tell you what, Dan Hardy's arm is made of fucking rubber, because I'm going to tell you, he had it locked twice.
Yep, and the armbar, he was locked.
Oh, I'm like, either that
bone, shoulder,
out, or they're just going to stop it just by sheer grimacing look alone. But Hardy's face never even changed. Like, it didn't even...
Yeah, he's a gangster, man.
Yeah, and, in his last fight with Lytle, it was a beast fight. It was a great war. And I definitely remember watching it, because that's, when my friend Jimmy Hennis made his debut against Alex Caceres that night as well.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, that was a very like washed card by me, and then everybody in our area. And Jimmy, he's a big jiu-jitsu guy. But like, if you were to go back and watch that fight, he is not a lay and pray type person. He's consistently trying to grab something. In kind of know what I mean? Like, he's sitting there, he's
always trying to set up a submission or a sweep or something. Yeah, attacking.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fight that, like, you need to Google if you haven't seen it, because, like, once he's going for one thing, they try to block that, he immediately grabs your neck. And that's just kind of what, happened there. And the kid's now, 10-0 and 10 submissions, and, he's a beast.
Nice.
Yeah, for sure. So, what else is going on over there in your end, man? Like, how's the gym going?
My personal gym at 303 Training Center is going good. It's just over a year now that we've been open. We got a good base of students, and I teach Thai boxing, and my buddy Tony Baselli, he teaches the jiu-jitsu. There's a couple of jiu-jitsu coaches, but we got a good stable of students, and it's going good, man. I like to teach and share the knowledge, of course, and I like to say I don't teach self-defense. I teach people to beat the fuck out of someone. No, I'm just it's not. But to be honest, it's not really like self-defense. I don't have everybody come in and learn to slip punches and run backwards. It's definitely martial arts for sure. But it's going good, man. I definitely like to teach, and then I do most of my personal training at Grudge with Trevor Whitman, and then we got a good crew of guys there, and all the main UFC guys train there. There's a couple of guys outside the UFC that don't train there, but most of the UFC guys in Colorado train at Grudge, and then we got a great wrestling coach with Mr. Bowling, and then we got good jiu-jitsu coaches. I'm all leased in, and then again, I work my jiu-jitsu at my gym as well, so we got a good family going, man. Back in a while ago, like, I used to always go out and train at Boston, California, because Colorado, there was really nobody here. But now we have a world-class instructors in every area, striking, jiu-jitsu, and wrestling, and then we have good training partners that are always pushing each other. So it's good stuff, man. I'm definitely happy that I can stay here because I have my business here with the gym. I got my family here. So it's really a blessing that I do not have to leave my state to go train somewhere else. And I understand that's not the only reason why people go and train. Some people will leave state to go and train just to get away from their whatever it is they have, but I don't need to get away from anything. I love my family, and I don't have a bunch of idiot friends. I don't go out drinking and partying, so there's nothing that bad, per se, that would make me have to leave or, to gain focus. I can keep focus here because basically I'm not an idiot.
Right, definitely. And for people who don't know, where is your gym?
Westminster, Colorado, but like 303bjj.com or my website, duanebang.com. And I personally teach 90% of my classes if I'm in town, so it's cool. But I teach the intermediate class, and then I have a coach of mine teaching the beginner class. And it's funny because I just did a radio commercial, and at the end of the commercial I said, if you want to learn how to kick ass like a ninja or not get your ass kicked by ninjas, come train with me at 303 Training Center. So it just sounded kind of funny. I thought it was good.
Yeah, because
this ninjas is running around kicking people's asses, man, and you either don't get your ass kicked or learn to kick ass like a ninja. It's your choice, motherfucker.
And those of you who are listening, as Duane said earlier, knocking people out in 4 seconds is some ninja shit. So
that is, man. Like, even if it wasn't me, if I seen somebody do that, like, holy shit, that was freaking sweet.
Fucking ninja.
Yes, indeed. I just gotta do it again. That'd be sweet. I'm trying, though. Every time I'm trying. You're just not working.
Well, right. Hey, man, I mean, sometimes you knock people out. Sometimes you beat them up for 15 minutes. Sometimes, what I mean? That's freaking just the way that it is. You know what I mean? I don't know anybody that's 15-0 with 15, 10-second knockouts.
Yeah, that'd be sweet, right? I definitely buy his DVDs. Yeah,
for sure. And he would probably be in the UFC. And I don't know of anybody right now. I mean, there may be somebody on the planet somewhere, you know what I mean, fighting in a different country that's, I don't know. Maybe it's just a lopsided matchmaking.
There might be. Yeah, that happens in the Midwest quite a bit. Like, who's the one guy, man, he's got a crazy record, but his record in the UFC is, like, all losses or something. He's Jason Reinhart.
Right.
Jason Reinhart?
Yep.
I forgot his record is something crazy, like 19-0 or 19-1, but then his fights in the UFC have all been, like, 0-4 or something. I'm not sure. So definitely lopsided matches for sure.
Right, and that's the thing too. Like, I try not to argue with people. I try not to debate, but sometimes I will debate people when they, you know what I mean? Like, I'm a huge mixed martial arts fan. I go to local shows. It doesn't matter who's fighting. I'll go watch just because I enjoyed this, I enjoyed the sport so much. I have so much, respect for the athletes. But I argue with people all the time, and they call me something, you know what I mean? They'll call me a name like a Zuffa Zombie, or they'll call me something like that. I'm here to say that the UFC has the best fucking fighters in the world. And there are some fighters that came over from other organizations, and, they dominated there, and they come to the UFC and they struggle, and they'll go 1-4, they'll go 2-6. And it just gets proven time and time again that the UFC does have the top competition on the planet. And
yeah, for sure.
And, and that's just all there is to it. You know what I mean? And, I don't want to, I'm not going to point any fingers to any fighters, but there's guys that fought in Pride that just had years of running through people, and the minute that they come to the States and start fighting some, top-ranked dudes, their records kind of go lopsided at that point in time.
Yeah, and there's a couple aspects to that, though, too. I know, because I've spent 4 or 5 years fighting over in Japan. I've been in Japan 17 times, and a lot of my times, me dealing with the Japanese has been very difficult for multiple reasons. Short notice, calls, all the time.
Hello, Duane? Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you listening, let me try to get Duane. I think his call has dropped, but let me see if I can't get him back on the phone real quick, like. And hold on one sec, please. Sorry about this.
Brother, I lost you.
Yeah, man, no big deal.
You're back on the line?
Yep.
Okay. So I'm sorry. Can you hear me okay? You're on speaker now. Can you hear me fine?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So I was saying about Japan, always short notices, delayed paydays, switching opponents. So for me, dealing with the Japanese was rough, and looking on the flip side, it depends if the Japanese liked you or not. They would give you the heads up, okay, you're going to be fighting in 2 months against this guy, but we're going to let him know in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever. But he'll take the fight because we're going to kick him an extra couple grand. That's just a scenario that I ran across personally. Just like when I fought BJ over in Japan. I don't know how much notice BJ had, but anyway, for my first fight in the UFC against Genki, after that I had 2 contracts on the table. I had K1 contract and I had a UFC contract. I mistakenly, looking back on it, signed with K1 because that's always my dream to be a K1 champion and stuff. And looking back, I got some good experiences from that. But I wish I would have signed with the UFC because I'd be further along now than I am. But anyway, I signed with the K1. I don't roll for a year and a half. I fight BJ again on a 2-week notice. I'm like, fuck. It's because Genki did not want to fight BJ, and they couldn't pull Gami in to fight BJ at the time. So nobody wanted to fight him. So they pulled me in to fight BJ on 2-week notice. I haven't rolled for a year and a half. Whether that would have made a difference or not, maybe not. But when they were paying me, a good chunk of change, I was like, what's the worst thing's going to happen? And get a choke and an armbar? Fine. I'll take that money for sure. Anyway, if the Japanese like you, they give you good opponents, good notice, and they take care of you. So that's part of that whole lopsided record thing.
True. That's true as well. And way back in the day in Pride days, and people, I'm talking way back Pride days. I'm talking Fedor, the Nogueiras, things like that. And they also talked about how a lot of Pride fights might have been fixed because it is public knowledge that it. Right. It is public knowledge that, the Japanese mob funded a lot of those. And so, it's give or take. And me personally, I don't really care most of the time. I just like to watch fights. And if someone has a name, they have a name, and it's great. But, in overall reality, the UFC does have the toughest competition in the world.
Yes, for sure. And there's a couple reasons for that. Again, ample notice, and the best athletes are going to be with the company that pays the most, and that's the UFC. But, when Pride and UFC were both going, I'm not quite sure what the pays were. I don't know what the Pride people were paying, or what Pride was paying the fighters anyway. I know exactly what I got paid between K1 and I never fought for Pride, but when K1 did the K1 Romanex show, anyway, that's when I fought BJ. The Japanese pay and the U.S. pay, for me, has never been much different. It's always been about the same.
Right.
So I know people that they're getting paid a shitload of money in Japan, which I don't know. That was very good too. The money exchange, but I doubt it sometimes.
Right.
But nowadays, people always make up stories, make it sound better anyway.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like people were getting paid $200, $300 grand over in Japan, like some say. I doubt that, and I know quite a few people.
Yeah, and the thing is that they said back in the Pride days that they used to just straight up pay you in cash afterwards, and fighters sometimes had a hard time coming back to the States because obviously you can't bring back more, you can't carry more than what is it, $9,900.
You're supposed to have 10 grand, under 10 grand. Well, they say on the form if you have 10 grand or over, you're supposed to let them know. But usually when you go to Japan, you got a couple buddies, so you guys just split it up or just hide it, of course.
Right.
I've heard some stories from people that they would just put it in their suitcases or their check-on luggage and things that wouldn't really get searched. But yeah, some people when I find for K1 though, it would always be a wire transfer. I would never get paid cash, and that's what goes back with the delayed pay days. They would do the wire transfers whenever the fuck they wanted, and they'd have to be emailing them, calling them like, hey man, where's the money? Oh, we're busy. Motherfucker, I don't care. I need my money.
Yeah, and I've heard a lot of horror stories, too, about Japan. I've talked to other fighters and saying that they had a hard time getting paid. Some of them did, some of them didn't. But I guess that's just the way it works over there. But in the States, I mean, obviously there's probably no problems with the UFC. The
UFC, I've never had an issue, nor have I ever heard an issue with the UFC paying people. We overpay people sometimes, with the bonuses and stuff. They take care of stuff. But also, on the flip side of that, that's governed by the athletic commission. The way it works is they have to have, so they have, let's say, 2 fighters on the card, and they are supposed to pay in total, if this guy wins or if this guy wins, they need to have X amount of funds in the bank account that's already been cleared by the athletic commission. Okay, you have, let's say, 50 grand total, which will cover more than that, more than double this guy's purses, and the athletic commission writes you the check, hands you the check. So it's governed third party, which is nice. But even if it wasn't, UFC takes care of their people no matter what.
Yeah, and that's for damn sure. I mean, they're super professional. They don't fuck around, and not only because of the fighters, but because of that, they are the top mixed martial arts organization in the world, and it's only going to get bigger, and it's only going to get better. I believe that the paydays will eventually grow to, to more and more and more and more money. That's what a lot of people, complain about. I can't believe that the UFC is not paying out like boxers do. Well, Dana White has a prime, point when he says that, how many boxers really make $20, $30, $50 million a fight. What I mean? There's very, 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 very few.
Misconception there.
Yeah, I mean, I could get my facts wrong, but I was just kind of searching it a little bit. Just a regular, main card headliner at a boxing, they make anywhere from $500 grand to $1 million. That's about it. And, sometimes less, sometimes a couple $100,000. And it's just the fact of the matter is that, boxing's been around for 100 years, and they've had the time, and they had the market cornered for so many years that they were making all this money that they are now, able to make those kind of paydays. I mean, if Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather happen, they're talking paying each fighter $100 million. I mean, that's ridiculous fucking money. And you'll never see that with any combat sport except for those 2 guys. You know what I mean? It's just ridiculous.
It's when you become a pro boxer, the starting pay usually is $100 a round. So if they start at 4 rounders, they get $400. So yeah, a lot of people don't know about boxing, and there's boxing cards going on all the time, just like there's mixed martial arts cards going on all the time. But the ones that they hear about are the very top ones, and they're getting paid millions of dollars. Fine, good. If the budget's there, allow it because they deserve it. But I don't know exactly what some of the mixed martial arts organizations bring in, what they could be paying, what they should be paying. I'm not one to judge it, but I can tell you what, for me personally, I make as much money now in one fight as I did ever working after. I'd have to work a full year as an electrician to make what I make in one fight with UFC, and which is cool with me. I'm happy. So that's cool. If I'm going to get more than one fight in a year, I'll be straight. Just got to stay healthy.
Yeah, and that's the thing that people don't realize. I mean, it's good money. I wish that I was, I wish that I got paid, whatever for for like a one show appearance. I obviously don't get paid for this because this is just my own show. Hopefully someday I can get some sponsors or something. But I mean, I wouldn't do anything else. I mean, why? So I mean, and like a lot of times a fighter will make a lot of their money off of sponsorship as well. And
not really now.
No?
I mean, there's so many fights, so many fighters that
right.
the sponsor money for me. I don't know other people, but I mean, I'm honest. I keep it real with every fucking thing I do and say. And
right.
I'll tell you what. I made less money in my last fight on the sponsors than I did on my first. Because, like, UFC, you get paid. That was my last fight. I got paid 16 and 16. I made less than 16 in sponsors. So that's less. Cause some people say, I make more money than my whole fight just off sponsors, which I doubt that because there's so many fights, so many fighters now. Companies don't have that much money to sponsor all these guys individually all the time. They're not making that much money. The economy is just not there right now. So for me personally, I made more money from just my show than I did from my sponsors in my last fight. And that's been the case. I've never made more money off a sponsor than my show money from any fight. So I know that's a misconception too in my reality anyway. Some people say they make a shit ton of money off their sponsors. Hopefully they do. Good. They deserve it. If they get it, they get it. But I doubt it sometimes.
Okay, well, that's actually really good to know because that actually cleared things up for me because I'm even under the assumption, sometimes that, that a fighter will make all this money on sponsorship. So that's actually good to know. I know, and I'm glad that you came out and said that because, I was one of those guys that thought, well, they make good money with sponsorships. And that's always part of my debate. But
yeah, that's such a relative term, huh? Good or enough or a lot or a little. That's such a relative thing.
True.
Yeah.
True. Very, very true.
They make good money. I mean, it's free money to, wear a logo on his shorts. But that's the thing with me, too. I am picky on who I allow sponsor me. I don't just go out and take any sponsor because I work with companies that I either use or believe in their product, or I don't do it. I had a couple people come to me from last fight or last two fights, and I said no because some of the products, like supplement companies in general, a lot of that shit does not work. I don't know what the percentage is, but it's a very high percentage, and none of that shit works. But yet, it's a lot of money there. So it's just kind of a weird area. Like my agent that I'm working with now, Oren Hodek, he's the guy up at KO Reps, and he was kind of like wondering why am I questioning the sponsors, but it's because I'm real and I'm honest. And I would be lying to my fans if I wore a product on my apparel or on my banner that I did not use. And it's basically the way I look at sponsors is like, hey, look, I got this logo on me because I believe in this product, not because they're paying me $1,000 to wear the freaking logo. I have this logo on me because I use it, and I feel you should use it too. If you guys want to use the stuff I'm using, this is what I'm using.
Right, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
No, I keep the shit real.
For sure, man. No doubt. Now, I'm curious. Now, I know that you probably only have a couple more minutes here, and I do appreciate your time. Last night, there was a Strikeforce Challengers card, okay? I'm not sure if you caught it or not, okay?
I don't watch it.
Okay. Well, there's this female mixed martial artist. Her name is, Rowdy Ronda Rousey, okay? Now, and she completely beasted this girl. Now, I just kind of want to get your thoughts, like, you know what I mean? Like, what's your thoughts on women mixed martial arts? Like, do you think that it should be something that the UFC should bring in? Or, what are your thoughts on it? Do you have any opinion?
I would not mind seeing the UFC bring in female mixed martial artists at certain levels. I mean, I'm sure they would be great. Some of the mixed martial artists, female mixed martial artists, I'm not a big fan of as far as like just comparing them between a male and a female. Some of them just aren't. They're not the same, and we're two different. That's why they have males and females. That's why one likes color pink, one likes color red. It's just a more masculine thing. It's in our DNA. But some of the female mixed martial artists bring it. They freaking scrap. Who's the one Dutch girl? Marloes.
Yeah, Marloes Kunin.
Gina. The girl who just Misha Tate is gangster. She freaking scraps. I would love seeing her fight again. There's a few of them, and I'm sure if the UFC allows them to come into the UFC, into the UFC, like Joe Silva would, bring in the correct ones, because it can't be a step down. You can't have two girls come in and have it. Let's grade it on ABC, come in at a C level, bout versus an A-level bout on the same night, same card. Because people are going to be judging them, side by side, which that's just what we do. Everyone says, oh, you shouldn't judge this, you shouldn't judge that. Fuck you. I judge shit all the damn time, and so do you. You just don't have the balls to say it. I judge people and everything all the time. And it's just the way it is, man. Like, that's what we do. We freaking judge things. And if you were going to have a male, a female bout happen, and to say, unless it's the first bout on the card, a female, like, oh, that was a good fight, and then, holy shit, two guys just scrapped, you're bringing Clay Guida and Ben Henderson again or something, and you're like, holy shit, that was way better than the girls' card, but then it's okay. But if you go Ben Henderson and Clay Guida, and then you put it to a girl match, it's not so good, and then you're like, oh, these suck, you shouldn't have women on the card. So I guess it depends on where you place them on the card, who's next, and or in any way like that, you could put them before or after, maybe a good fight or a bad fight to make them look good or make them look bad. But there are some good female mixed martial artists out there, not good, like great, and there's some freaking great ones out there that would be a perfect fit for the UFC in my eyes. I would not mind seeing them fight in the UFC at all. Chris Cyborg, she scraps all the time.
Yeah.
Tate, Marlos Conan, and Gina Carano, they always fight, man. I'd bring them. I'd love to see them fight.
Yeah, and that's the thing, too, and I completely agree. It's like when you have – I don't think, because it hasn't been around so long, I'm not saying that these females haven't been doing, certain martial art disciplines for years, but mixed martial arts is a different ball of wax, and you have a lot of people who, a lot of females who don't have that experience, who are like 1-0 or only been in one professional fight against another person that's, like a 1-0 against an 0-1, and that's the only mixed martial arts experience that they have. And it's not that it's their fault; it's just lack of experience, and a lot of times that turns to 15 minutes of not very much action. Now, if you can create one division with your cyborgs, with your Gina Caranos, with your Miesha Tates, with your Ronda Rouseys, now that's something that may be exciting. If you can just create one division to maybe start off with instead of, 3 divisions with lack of talent, then that's something that, people may want to see. But I do agree. Like, you have somebody that comes in, they just watch 2 guys go at it, a Ben Henderson or a Clay Guida go at it, and then you bring this female fight in, and it doesn't really live up to anything. It's just kind of like, well, why the fuck did they put these on?
It wouldn't have to be a female division as much as I think it would have to just be female super fights every now and then.
Okay, yeah.
Build up to the Challengers and Strike Force and other, less popular shows, and then maybe have the championship fight in the UFC or something like that.
That is a good point. Yeah.
All the points are good, motherfucker.
That's because you're a fucking ninja, son.
See?
You're.
I got a handle. Next. What's next? I got a handle.
Well, tonight we have UFC 139, man, and we got Shogun and we got Dan Henderson in the main event. Who do you like in that fight?
That's one thing I don't like doing predictions because I like one guy, but I feel the other guy will win, and I just sometimes like for fighters or a public figure, whatever, it comes back on me a little bit, and I'd rather not say, but great matchups, man. Shogun and Dan Henderson. I love Dan Henderson. I love Shogun. Like, they freaking scrap all the time. That's going to be a great fight. Kung Lee and Vanderlei. That one, I can state what I feel are facts, and whether the outcome of the fight, whatever it is. But I think I feel Kung Lee is too explosive, too athletic for Vanderlei right now. I don't think Vanderlei ever has had the best footwork. Of course, he freaking scraps. Do not get hit by Vanderlei. And Kung Lee can take a shot, but his footwork is what will set him apart, I feel, as long as he does not come into the UFC with the first UFC jitters, whatever, which I don't think he will. He's been in, the big lights for a long time. He's fighting his hometown of San Jose. He's been, in martial arts for a very long time in front of the cameras. I don't think he's going to have a problem with the pressure. And for all the fighters out there or anyone that's listening, when that cage door shuts, and I've had, experience with this on both sides, I've thought, man, shit, I'm fighting this guy, or I'm over in Japan, or I'm fighting this guy, and the cameras are on, people are watching. None of that shit matters. The only thing that matters is the guy in front of you, go freaking fight. That's all that matters. And I'm learning to embrace that within the last couple of years. After some people have that, like, oh, man, big lights are on, or Dana's watching, or Joe's watching. It does not fucking matter. Just go fight. And don't worry about anything. Allow your muscle memory and your clear mind just to go out there and flow and have some fun, man. It's a fight. Go freaking fight. And I think that's what Kung Lee will do. As long as, I don't think he's going to have the first UFC fight jitters. He's going to be too athletic for Vanderlei. I love Vanderlei. I love Kung. I love, all these guys, man. they're my brothers, and I hope it's just a good fight, which I know it'll be, and they come out with minimal injury.
That's awesome, man, and those are great. Those are great words, and I know that we've about hit our peak our time with you. So those are like great words to like end on, bud. And ladies and gentlemen, this is Duane Bang Ludwig, the fucking ninja of the UFC.
One more thing, guys. I got on Twitter. I got a contest going on right now. You follow me, Duane Bang Com, and tweet me the winner of Kung Lee and Vandeweghe. If you tweet me the winner, the time, the round, and how they won, I got these hotel room key cards. I have 3 of them, and they have Junior Dos Santos and Shane Carwin on there from their match in Vancouver. I have 3 of those cards, and then whoever gets the closest time and the winner of the bout, I'll send off the card to you as a prize.
Nice, and I will also tweet that out to everybody, and you guys make sure that you follow Duane Bang. It's Duane Bang Com, and as you just said, he does have a contest going on, and you guys definitely need to check that out. Duane, I appreciate your time so much, and I hope that you can come on again sometime and shoot the shit, dude. It's good to like shoot the shit instead of just completely doing like interview stuff. I love just shooting the shit sometimes, and I appreciate your time.
Man, I appreciate it, my friend. Thank you, sir.
All right, brother. Take care, Ninja.
You too, brother. Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right, bud. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Duane Bang Ludwig. And, as you guys can hear, he is an absolute awesome individual. He's great to shoot the shit with. I'll tell you what, we got Lex McMahon coming up here in a few minutes. I'm going to see when he is available here in the next 15 minutes or so. If there's anybody listening out there right now and they want to give a shout-out and call up and have any questions or want to discuss anything, maybe UFC 139 for the next few minutes, they can go ahead and do so. The number is 714-868-0794. And again, this is Cage Talk, and I'm going to take a little break. If I see someone calling in, I will bring you on the air. So for right now, here's a little break, and here's a little B. Delaney, and I'm going to see when Lex McMahon can come on the air. Stand by, please.
And I'm up right now, and I'm up right now, and I won't come down. Working on a masterpiece. I'm working on a masterpiece. To inspire artists after me. To inspire artists after me. And I'm trying to make my cash increase. And I'm trying to make my cash increase. To give the most to those who have the least. To give the most to those who have the least. Yesterday I woke up feeling stressed. Last night I prayed and I woke up feeling blessed. I wish life would shuffle cards and deal them less. But I guess that means I be living less. And we don't want that now. Next level, please. Next level, please. I'm up right now, and I'm up right now. Next level, please. The past and tomorrow's never promised. So I'm living for today, but tomorrow is acknowledged. The world is in my hands. I feel like I could palm it. I don't wear Jesus round my neck, cause he's right here where my heart is. Jesus round my neck, cause he's right here where my heart is. Yeah, I'm trying to be greater than my idols. But it's hard when you have so many rivals. And I feel like nobody can do what I do. Because I just do it, I don't try to do it. Let's go to the next level, please. Next level, please. And I'm up right now, and I'm up right now, and I won't come down. Next level, please. It's an option, what I just believe. It's an option, what I just believe. Everything is nothing and nothing is what it seems. Everything is nothing and nothing is what it seems. Anything that comes in your life has to leave. Anything that comes in your life has to leave. Yeah, best friends, females, just to say the least. Best friends, females, just to say the least. I only ask that everybody stay the same for me. As soon as the lifestyle changed, then they changed on me. Fingers crossed, hoping that the hours turn to days for me. Stuck between right and wrong, somebody please pray for me. Everybody love the women, right? The girls come and go, it's concrete with your niggas, right? I guess I'm speaking on deaf ears. I overcame love, now I'm working on my next fear. Money on my mind, a lot of niggas on my back. They ain't a recipe for life, I guess I gotta start from scratch. Things change with it is the motto. Just hoping I adapt by tomorrow. Pray for me. Pray for me. Pray for me. And I'm up right now, and I'm up right now, and I won't come down. Next level, please. Next level, please. And I'm up right now, and I'm up right now, and I won't come down. Next level, please.
Hey, everyone out there listening right now, live. Unfortunately, as of right now, I cannot get Lex McMahon on the line. He did confirm that he was going to come on the show today, but I do understand that some things happen, and people do get busy. This is why most of my hits are normally downloaded on iTunes or whatnot, because on a live show, anything can happen. So please just stand by for just a little bit longer. I'm going to try to get him on the line. If I cannot get him on the line, we're going to end up ending the show pretty quickly, unless people are listening and they want to call in and possibly just discuss tonight's UFC action, tonight's Bellator. But please stand by, and I'm going to try to get Lex back on the line. Thank you for listening to Cage Talk.
So I'ma get it, no, I got it. Everybody wants the good life until they got it. But then they want more, but what the hell is left? Oh, this dope. So let's get some more, cause you can never get enough of that. Never enough of that, never get enough of that. Never get enough of that. Never enough of that, never get enough of that. Get enough of that. I don't need to agree more. I'm watching them do them. I need to do me more. Happiness is priceless. Why you think it's free for? Sometimes I gotta sleep less just so I can dream more. That's all I want, that's why I'm throwing up the peace for. There's certain things I want, but I don't really think I need more. Greatness ain't achieved alone, that's why I got a team for. Coming from nothing, I'm just trying to make the least more. Comfort with a high roller. I gotta start living before my life's over. I shine bright before Apollo put them lights on me. I got 2 offers that night, homie. We ballin' over here, and it's make it, take it. I don't wait for offers, I make them make them. Cajun regrets, I'm hoping that my mind frees me. Life's hard, I hope I die easy. So I'ma get it, no, I got it. Everybody wants a good life until they got it. But then they want more, but what the hell is left? Oh, this dope. So let's get some more, cause you can never get enough of that. Never enough of that, never get enough of that. Never enough of that, never get enough of that. Never enough of that, never get enough of that. On the road to success, they wonder where I've been from, accomplishing a lot. I'm only 21 years young, DC, Maryland, VA, the DMV, wheel one, live by 2 rules, dream big, fear none. I hear all the comparisons, yeah, I'm well aware of it. I can only do me, so cherish it. I used to wear my heart on my sleeve on this $60 sweater.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I just got a response from Mr. Lex McMahon, and I'm going to give him a ring and call him into the show now. So thank you for being patient, and let me get Lex McMahon, who is the president of Alchemist MMA Management, on the line. Hello, this is Mike Thorpe from Cage Talk. Is this Lex?
Hey, Mike, how are you?
I am doing great, sir. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. Very well.
Good, good. Hey, I just wanted to thank you right off the bat for taking the time to come in on the show today.
Yeah, man, my pleasure. Happy to help.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, my friend who's up there in Canada, Ryan McDonald, kind of sent you my way, so I definitely appreciate it, especially now that I know that I'm talking to a former veteran.
Always a veteran.
Yeah, no. Yeah,
always.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No worries. I was just saying, once a Marine, always a Marine, man.
Yes, sir. I am a veteran as well. I am not a Marine. Some Marines made fun of me because I was in the Air Force, but I was attached to a combat comm unit, so I worked with multiple Marines and multiple soldiers, so I definitely know where you guys are coming from. That is for damn sure.
Hey, listen, man, you Air Force boys and Navy boys were great. You always took me where I needed to go when I needed to fight, so I had no complaints.
Awesome. That's awesome. All right, so everybody that's listening, if you do not know who Lex McMahon is, he is the president of Alchemist Management, and you're also the president of the Alchemist clothing line as well, correct?
Yeah, we have Alchemist. There's multiple business verticals associated with our company, and I'm the president of the overall company, which is just Alchemist MMA. Okay,
awesome. Now, for those of you who also don't know, Lex McMahon manages, the likes of Brendan Schaub, Stefan Struve, Nate Marquardt, and multiple other high-level people, and Vladimir Matt Yushchenko as well, right?
Correct, the janitor. Respect the janitor, man.
Yes, sir. Always have, always will, too. He's an animal.
Yeah, listen, 40 years old and he's ranked number 9 in the world. That's not bad.
No. It's not bad whatsoever. And I always like watching him fight. And every time I watch him fight, I'm like, I can't believe this guy fights at 205. Like, he's a beast. he truly is.
He's a tough guy, man. He's also an amazing person. He's a great teacher. But he's, until he's done fighting, whenever that is, man, I think he's going to be a nightmare for people to deal with.
Yeah. And me too. I mean, that's just one guy that no matter who he's fighting, you can just never count out. I mean, I don't count out anybody, period, normally, but that's just definitely one guy that you can never just count out. I mean, that's just the facts of the matter. He's a complete and utter animal.
Well, he's a world-class wrestler, and, in this sport, wrestling is, hands down the best foundation. The guys know how to suffer, they know how to train, they know how to cut weight. They're just, wrestlers have been engaged in their sport, oftentimes since they were 3 or 4 years old. And when you bring that kind of lifetime of training and that mentality of training to the MMA world, I think it translates incredibly well, and it does so in Vladimir's instance for sure.
Right, definitely. And now also, notably now, now, does Nate have a fight coming up in February? Is he still on that card in February in Bama?
Yeah, no, he was supposed to be on the December 10th card. Bama made a decision to have him fight on February 11th in Bama 9. And so Nate's looking forward to getting back in the cage, man, for sure. And I
can't wait to see him. And I'm a huge Nate Marquardt fan, and I'm not just saying that because I have you on the air. I'm just a huge Marquardt fan, and it sucks what happened, and I'm not even really going to go into it because it's, you know what I mean, and it just sucks. But I'm glad that he's found a home for now with Bama. And how's that Bama been going? How are they treating you guys?
Everything's been great over at Bama. They've taken very good care of us. We're just ready to fight. Nate's ready to get in there and do what he does for a living, and I'm ready to do what I do, which is promote Nate and market him as best as possible and allow him the opportunities to realize the full revenue potential of what he does. So together we're both ready to go do what we do, man.
Definitely. Now this is at welterweight, right? He stayed at 170. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's interesting. He was just, I forget what, I think it was maybe on Junkie or one of the, bigger sites the other day. has Nate still ranked as number 4 in the world in middleweight. He's just not ranked in welterweight because he hasn't fought yet. But as soon as he fights, he's going to be ranked. And Nate is hands down one of the top fighters in the world. I honestly believe he could be a champion both at welter and at middleweight, at the highest level promotions. I anticipate he will be back in the UFC at some point and have a run at the title. So, listen, I'm blessed to have Nate Marquardt as a client, more importantly as a friend. He celebrated the birth of his son yesterday, and that was exciting news for us to see. So, in the Alchemist world, we're definitely much closer with our clients than just clients. We're very tight with the people that we choose to work with.
Right, and the thing is, and I completely agree. I believe someday we will see Nate back in the UFC, and I was so ready for him to be down at 170. I was really pumped for that because there was just something in me telling me that he was just going to completely dominate that division. And I do believe that he could, do work at 185 or 170. But I was really excited to see him down at 170 just because I think that he just has such a size and strength advantage down there, kind of like Rumble Johnson does. But Rumble Johnson moved up to 185.
Sure.
And he's
by the way, he's still going to be big at 185. Rumble's a big cat, man.
Oh, I have no doubts whatsoever. I think Anthony Johnson is an absolute beast, and I think he's going to do well up there at 185. And because if you look at Rumble Johnson's record, it's a great record, but he hasn't been in a whole lot of fights, and he's got such a huge future in front of him. And I think that that's a good move for him, and I think that he's going to do well. Just like I think Nate's going to do well down at 170 or 185 if he ever chooses to go back up or wherever Nate fights. I think that he's just going to do phenomenal.
Sure.
Yeah, now, after this fight that's coming up in February, now I'm not sure how many fight deal that Nate has with Bama. Now, is that going to put him in a title shot line there at 170? Because I think that currently their welterweight title is vacant.
Well, Nate will be fighting for the Bama title.
That is for
when he fights on. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That was something that was very important for us. Nate is a champion, has been a champion, and we want him to fight for the title, as soon as possible. And so we were able to negotiate that as part of the package. So Nate will be fighting for the title, and we're very excited about that.
That's huge. Now that Paul Daly is there now too as well, and he's fighting at 170. What do you guys think about a possible matchup with Paul Daly?
Paul Daly's not anywhere but Strikeforce. Let's be honest. He's been allowed to fight outside of his contract with Strikeforce, with Bama back at Bama 7. He also just fought in ringside up in Canada in Montreal. But he needs, in order to do those fights, he needs to get sign-off from Strikeforce. And until that happens, he won't be fighting Nate. That's a fight we look forward to. Nate was very public about wanting that fight. We wanted that fight. Daly called for that fight. And, it just hasn't happened yet. So hopefully that does open up as an option. But Yoshida's that fight now, and Nate's looking forward to it.
Right, definitely. Now, another notable guy that's under you, you have multiple, but that's Stefan Struve, and he's just coming off an awesome victory over Pat Barry.
The atomic bomb. He's an amazing fighter. The great thing about Stefan is he's got a tremendous amount of heart. Obviously, he's got ridiculous ground game. But something we're working with him, and his coaches are working with him on. In particular, Anthony Hardunk, who has Dynamics Gym, and Anthony, who's a tremendous UFC fighter in his own right. They've been working on getting Stefan to take advantage of his natural gifts, which is his reach. The man's damn near 7 foot tall. He could punch you from across the cage. So we're working on that. Sometimes because of the style of fighting he likes, he'll stand in the pocket and trade, and that's probably not the best style for him. Just stylistically, better to be on the outside picking guys apart, and then either hit him with a big bomb or get it to the ground and use all those leverage points that he has.
Right, and that's the thing, and that's what I say. Like, every time that I see Stefan Struve fight, it's just the fact that, like, I'm like, this guy can literally kick him in the face from across the cage. And I always just make it that point.
Exactly.
He has such an advantage over everybody that he fights as far as his reach goes. And, you know, I mean, I am most certainly no trainer. I am most certainly no mixed martial artist. But, I mean, I think if that reach can be incorporated in every single fight that he's in, I mean, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I see him dominating people. You know what I mean? Kind of like Johnny Bones Jones does down at 205. He uses his, I mean, he has such a significant reach advantage over everybody. And he uses it to, you know, his advantage in every single fight. And, you know, a reach advantage is such, you know, it's just such a huge thing in this sport. You know what I mean? And Stefan definitely.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you that, you know, reach is, there's two things that are deadly in this sport, speed and reach. You know, any reach advantage 2 inches or greater is, you know, a person with that kind of advantage wins in excess of 75% of the time. You go to 4 inches, it's even greater. So, you know, when you got a significant reach advantage, you know, you need to utilize that advantage.
Right. Definitely. And he most certainly has it. I mean, that's just all there is to it. And, you know, in that fight with Barry, I mean, you could just see, like, the minute that he got down on the ground, though, I mean, when he had that triangle locked in, he has such long, you know, he has such long legs that once I think he gets something locked in, that I really don't see anybody getting out of it, because his ground game is pretty ridiculous, and especially when he has, the long limbs that he has, that too is just such an advantage when it comes to the submission and grappling game, and it's just huge.
Yeah, agreed.
So another one of your guys who is also a veteran, or actually I'm not sure if he's still in. Correct me for my facts, but I think he is full time too still, and that's Tim Kennedy. Is that correct?
Tim Kennedy.
Full time, correct?
Tim Kennedy he's active duty. Okay. He's transferred from the Green Berets in active Army to a Special Forces Reserve unit or National Guard unit, and that just allowed him to be an active duty soldier, but to continue or to focus his energies on training and fighting for a while. It's great marketing for the Army. Tim's just recently been on the cover of Muscle and Fitness. He's been on the cover of Black Belt magazine. He's been on quite a few covers, so he's a great marketing guy for the military. Not to mention he's an all around amazing guy, and he's the type of guy that I think is a good poster person for the military and for the promotions that he fights for.
Right, definitely. Now, obviously, with Strikeforce still around, he's still underneath their banner. Now, I know Tim Kennedy's been wanting such a significant title rematch in Strikeforce. Where's that at? Like, where's he at in Strikeforce right now with upcoming fights?
Well, I'll leave that to come out in the near future, but Tim has made it pretty clear that he wants to be in the UFC fighting, at that level. I think that's probably a matter of time, but I think also everything we have to wait and see what happens with Showtime and Strikeforce, and until that all works itself out, Strikeforce has been public that they're not going to be moving too many more fighters over until that situation gains some more clarity. So I think we'll just sit back and wait and see, and hopefully Tim will be fighting soon, and it'll be an exciting fight that the fans will want to definitely watch for.
Right, and I think it's just a matter of time as well, because every time that I see Tim Kennedy fight, you can just see the advancement in his game every single time, and he's getting better and better every single time that he fights. And I love watching Tim Kennedy fight because he loves to fight, and he pushes the pace, as good, if not better, than most of the people in this business. And he's just
he's got ridiculous cardio. His cardio is insane.
Which I think the military has a lot to pay for that too, because I'm sure that his physical fitness test, he just blows away. I'm sure his PT.
Oh, yeah. Trust me, he's whatever he does for either the military or for MMA, just what he does personally dwarfs both of them. I mean, he's just a fitness fanatic. That's why he's on the cover of Sports Illustrated, Muscle and Fitness twice. Once as kind of a tearaway, then most recently this summer he had the full cover.
Which is awesome. Now, that kind of brings me to my next guy. I'm just kind of running down your list a little bit of guys that you have here, just so, people can get the updates, what's going on with Alchemist and you and everybody else. Now, Brendan Schaub. He's, I think one of the biggest up-and-coming heavyweights in the actual UFC at this moment in time, and I think he's got a huge future. And he, was in the Season 10 of The Ultimate Fighter. What's kind of going on with Brendan? What's next for him?
Well, listen, Brendan is a highly talented fighter. He's working to hone his craft. He's an amazing athlete, which I think has allowed him some success, with only 3 years of being in the sport. So he's just looking to allow the technical components to catch up. Obviously, he had a tough fight in Brazil, but, listen, he went into hostile territory, and he was winning the round. And unfortunately, the heavyweight division is one that is it's very easy to get caught with those 4-ounce gloves. And, Brendan got caught, and it happens. And every great champion in this sport has losses. So I fully anticipate that, Brendan will fight again very soon. And I think he's going to go on quite a win streak and challenge for the belt pretty quickly. And we'll take it from there. I think he's growing. He took to heart the loss and took it very hard. Then, was, backstage asking Nogueira, questions about the fight, so he could improve himself, that night. So, here's a guy who is passionate, but is also a student of the game, and he's ready to excel and to become the champion.
Absolutely, and that's one thing about the heavyweight, that I always talk about with people. It's like, this person got outstruck or this person got outstruck. I'm like, no. I'm like, when you're dealing with heavyweights, when you're dealing with guys that weigh 245, 250 plus, one catch, and you're going to, and you're going out. Like, it doesn't matter, because Brendan was definitely winning that fight. There's no doubt about it. It's just that when you are dealing with heavyweights, there's just such power and such force behind each one of the punches that just one little catch can end a fight. You know what I mean? And we just recently saw it on the Fox debut. Nobody would have thought that fight was, I kind of had a feeling that it wasn't going to be very long, but I wasn't really expecting a 65-second or whatever it was fight. But that just goes to show that in the heavyweight division, just one connected punch can end it, and end it very, very, very quickly. And I expect nothing but big things from Brendan, because I always liked watching him fight, and I think that he's one of the best up-and-coming guys in the heavyweight division. I really do.
Yeah, no, he's exciting. And the great thing about Brendan is, he just works tirelessly. He has all the kind of intangible tools that you would like a fighter to have. But in addition to that, he's also, tremendously marketable, and he gets it. He treats his fighting career as his business, which is exactly what it is. And he and I, talk probably 4 or 5 times a day just about different aspects of his business. Everything from matchmaking to sponsors to appearances, to various marketing angles, media. We talk about everything, and he's very engaged in the process. And of all the fighters I work with, he's probably the most engaged in the process. Different guys like to do things different ways, but he's definitely one who is very engaged in the process, and I encourage it because I think, my role is to be an advisor and to empower, my clients with the best information possible so that they can make the best decisions. But at the end of the day, I never forget that I work for them, and it is their decision. And, so it's fun with a guy like Brendan because he's so engaged in the process that we really, we go back and forth on it a lot, and ultimately we come up with, more often than not the best decision. Not always, but we're pretty close. We're doing pretty good on it so far.
Awesome. And I'll tell you what, just one more thing, and I won't take up too much of your time. I know that you're busy. I'm not sure. Are you out in California now for the fights tonight, or what's going on?
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. That's Brendan right now, actually. Hold on a second.
Sure.
Yeah, no, I'm out in San Jose. Whenever my guys fight, I tend to be there. There's only been 1 or 2 fights that I haven't made, and that was because I was sick on one of them. I think there was we had 2 fights on the same day, and but I'm typically with the guys all fight week. We check them in on Tuesdays, they fight Saturdays, and we leave Sunday, and that's my routine. So tonight I've got Alex Soto fighting in his debut in the UFC. He is doing doing incredibly well. He's unbeaten so far. So we're excited, man. It's a big fight, and we've gotten a ton of attention around him, and he's I think he's ready to go out and shock a lot of people. He's fighting Michael Mayday McDonald, who's a tough competitor. 13-1. So he's definitely no joke. This is not an easy way for Alex to come into the UFC. But I think what you'll see is he will rise to the occasion. And so we're excited about it, man.
No, and that's great. And I cannot wait for the fight tonight, and I can't wait for that fight. And for the main event tonight, you got Henderson and Shogun. I just got off the phone with Ludwig not too long ago, and he's not a big predictions guy, but if you are, who do you have in Henderson and Hua later on?
I'm going Shogun, man. I like Hendo. I think Hendo's great. I think he's got a ton of weapons that he can draw from. I just don't think he's going to beat Shogun. Just don't think. I think Shogun will outstrike him and potentially even knock him out.
That's the thing, and I completely agree with that. Like, I love Henderson. I think he's an animal, but like Shogun, his Muay Thai is phenomenal, and if Henderson wants to get into a striking battle with him, I think that he's going to have a tough time, and I think Hua is going to dominate that stand-up. And we all know that Henderson loves to throw blows, and Hua likes to throw blows, but I think Hua is just a little more technical when it comes to striking. And I think I'm going to take Hua in that fight as well. Well, at this moment in time, Lex, if you want to give a shout out to anybody or let anybody, let any of the listeners know what's going on, now is the time to do so.
Sure. I would just say right now, up until right before the fight this evening, we're going to be running a Twitter contest. Follow me on @LexMcMahon MMA, and also Alex Soto. Follow him at Soto, SOTO MMA. We'll be giving away a signed pair of his fight trunks. We're just trying to get his followers up since he's making his debut. So take a moment and come follow Alex Soto and maybe win a pair of signed Venom fight trunks.
Awesome. And I will definitely let everybody that follows me know that as well once I finish up here on the air. And once again, Lex, I really do appreciate the time and effort for you coming out here today, coming online, and I definitely hope that we can do it again someday.
Absolutely, amigo. And if you need anything, just let me know. Take care.
Alrighty, thanks, Lex. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this episode of Cage Talk. Join us next week, where right now we already have one confirmed guest, and her name is Jordan McDonald, and she will be on the air next week. And I will have a bigger list of guests to announce later on in the week. So everybody that's listening right now, I appreciate you coming out and listening to Cage Talk. And if you missed this episode, and if you're listening later or maybe on YouTube, you can always download the past episodes of Cage Talk out on iTunes. You can just go into your iTunes, search Cage Talk, and you will find it. So I appreciate everybody that's listening, and enjoy UFC 139 tonight. My picks for the main 3 fights on the card, I got to go with Uriah Faber, I got to go with Kung Lee, and I got to go with Shogun Hua. If anybody's listening out there right now, you can tweet me your picks tonight, and we will talk to you next week. Thanks for listening to Cage Talk.